Welcome to the Pharmacists Are In, a podcast made for pharmacists by pharmacists. Pull up a seat and let's get started.
Welcome back to our live stream, everyone. We are podcasting live at PharmacyU Toronto, 15-year anniversary. My name is Ajit Johal. I'm a co-host on the Pharmacists Are In podcast. My colleague, Dr. Still no Dr. John Papasturgio. Where is John? It's almost where's Waddle at this point. Hopefully he'll show up today, but it's all good. We have two excellent guests in this upcoming segment. We have Donald Swainson and Yvon Picard. Thank you so much for joining me, Donald and Yvon.
Thanks for having us.
No,
Thank you.
excellent. So let's just start a bit about, basically what we're doing is a bit about yourself and what PharmacyU means to you.
PharmacyU means a lot to me. This is Don, by the way, and I met Yvon at PharmacyU. I met Martin Risson at PharmacyU. I met Jim Danny. I met all these collaborators at PharmacyU, so it means connection and collaboration. It's a great meeting, best pharmacy meeting in the country.
Yep, definitely. In fact, I come exactly for the same reasons. I'm from Montreal, and I mostly work in Quebec, province of Quebec, and I knew that I needed to share the best practices on both sides, and that's where I found PharmacyU. And I found exactly Don we met, and Jim, and everybody. So very great opportunity. I just love being here. I didn't miss a PharmacyU event in 4 years now.
Wow.
Across the country. Yeah,
okay.
That's important to me.
Definitely. No, and Don, are you based out of Ontario?
I'm based in British Columbia.
Oh, okay, so am I.
Yeah, no way.
Vancouver.
Victoria.
Oh, there we go. We got a West Coast connection, and we got Yvon out east. That's
Yep.
fantastic. Talking to you both before the podcast, you both have you done your sessions today, or is it upcoming?
Done.
Done?
Yes.
Done? Perfect. So how did it go? Start with you, Yvon.
I'm very satisfied. Just to mention, I was nervous because it was my first session in English, so that was a challenge first, but that set aside, it went very well. I think my topic was prescription profit. Okay, so
It's always a good one.
yes, and that's mainly what I do to help pharmacists, that having a best clinical performance in your pharmacy is not enough unless you make profit, because you have to make sure that your pharmacy is sustainable. And pharmacy faces major challenges right now to stay sustainable. So you have to have a plan, otherwise you're part of somebody else's.
Definitely. And what were some of the key takeaways for attendees at your session?
From what I heard, most of them realize that they don't even know their EBITDA as we speak.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and from my experience, many pharmacists don't even understand very well what EBITDA is. So it's difficult to know if you don't know what it is. So that's probably the best takeaway from the session, other than all the how to increase it and everything, because pharmacists like to have the how, but first you need to understand the why, and financially and of course clinically.
Definitely.
Both sides.
So EBITDA is an acronym, and I'm going to try and take a stab at it here.
Yeah.
Go.
Earnings before
Income.
tax, amortization,
Debt as well.
debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And amortization.
Yeah.
Amortization. EBITDA, it's TDA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's a pharmacy owner, so I should know that. So.
See?
Yeah. He's always talking about that. So, no, that's very important, because not only it shouldn't come up when you're trying to sell your pharmacy, it should come up as something you're looking at year after year.
In fact, it should come up as soon as you buy a pharmacy.
Oh, yes.
Because you buy it upon the EBITDA of what you're
Yes.
buying, and your job is to increase it on a daily basis. And so that's a paradigm shift that we need to work on, is that you are responsible to increase your EBITDA. Not only because you sell your pharmacy at one point at a better rate, but it's because you want to make sure that your business is sustainable and it will keep doing what it's built for,
Yes. Yeah.
taking care.
Yeah. Of patients. Yeah. No, absolutely.
So that's why Don and I have so much good discussions, because this is where he brings tools and strategy to build your EBITDA. So, in fact, did you know that we knew each other?
I mean, I figured
No.
when you both sat down, you knew each other, but no, when did you meet?
At PharmacyU. So
Yes.
we were kidding that we would give you a good challenge today.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And I think your session had a lot of value. And even I can't even. Now I know the acronym for EBITDA when I probably should. So yes, Don, your session, we were talking about it, something about unlocking a $20 billion industry.
That's the number. I mean, it's a referenceable number. The TELUS report last year looking at the retail pharmacy revenue projects that by 2030, that specialty, what TELUS defined as a specialty prescription, that total market in community pharmacy would be a $20 billion market. And the theme of my talk was, how does a community pharmacy access that? And it was a great session, I think, as a speaker, because A, the room was full, B, people seemed to be paying attention. I think I had one guy falling asleep, but I think he was a spy from another group. And the questions were good at the end, right? And people stayed till the end. So I felt good about the session. The prevailing theme of my session was that community pharmacy can participate in the specialty segment, the big specialty segment. However, I talked through like what are the barriers to doing that, like explaining how the PSPs end up channeling prescriptions to specialty pharmacies, what you can do about it as a community pharmacy, how important the relationships are with physicians, how do you start to cultivate those relationships, and what are the services that are essential in a community pharmacy if you're going to even contemplate going down this road, especially pharmacy.
Wow. That's
It's a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah.
And I also caution people at the end, it's like, this one session may not get you there in terms of the real understanding to go after this, because the competitors have had 26 years head start. I mean, the first PSPs emerged around the time of Remicade being launched, and they've evolved in a very sophisticated way. They offer services that doctors want and that patients need, which can be replicated by community pharmacies increasingly. And you've got a lot of the pharma companies now that want to see that change. And I think that's important because pharma largely, innovative pharma largely created the PSP structure and enabled specialty pharmacies to evolve to the degree they have, like the multi-billion-dollar specialty pharmacies, and community pharmacies really need to understand what they're up against before they go try to take it on. I was talking to one of the colleagues afterwards, and he really described it as a David and Goliath battle. And it is. And, right now, we're all, individual Davids that don't necessarily communicate that well together and don't collaborate and don't really know all of what we're up against.
Totally.
And so we need to organize a bit.
Yeah, what's the saying? United we stand, divided we fall.
100%.
I think that really applies to community pharmacy. So what I kind of see from both of your sessions is, addressing the reality of what community pharmacy is right now. It's tough sledding, and really, you got to be proactive. You've got to work in a way that's different than what you've worked before. You've got to look at things, and attending events and sessions like this is a great start. What are some key services? And I have a bit of a bias here because I'm from BC. I'm a pharmacist, and I specialize in immunization. And I started a not-for-profit called Immunize.io in 2018. Our mission statement's taking our best shot at immunizing the world, and it's kind of evolved into almost working with employers to run vaccine clinics for a variety of different antigens. So I kind of saw the opportunity early in my career, and it's taken me to get to the point now, almost a decade, to get there. So I guess to a pharmacy attending, year after year when you come to PharmacyU, we would expect some sort of movement towards that goal, right? Like whatever you're discussing in your session, there should be some sort of movement towards that, right? Is that sort of, have you seen that in your attendees?
Well, I think we're at the start of something in terms of especially in community practice. I'm delighted to be here and to be able to present and share our story and our experience. There were other sessions, Heba's session on migraine, which I consider to be a specialty category because there's so many of those drugs have patient support programs, and you've got the high price GRP analogs, et cetera. So I think we're at the start of something. My marker of success, which you're alluding to in terms of the evolution, is that there'd be 10 sessions that are specialty related next year. I think it's such an important area that I'm passionate about. I think, by the way, vaccination is one of the critical services that needs to be offered to every patient before they go on an immunosuppressive immunomodulator.
Absolutely.
And it's not happening today, and community pharmacies can fill that gap, but they have to get the patients from the specialist, and they have to get them out of the PSBs. So they have to get the prescription first. So that was one of my big messages. Get to know the docs, figure out the services you can offer them, and get the prescription first.
Yeah, and I think we're trying to promote immunization, doing a full assessment update for all recommended vaccines prior to the immunosuppression occurring.
100%. That's our model. It's what's made us successful with a number of the therapeutic areas we compete in. And that was when we started, 12 and a half, 13 years ago, and we had this idea. We took it to, I told this example in the meeting, we took this to the head neurologist at the MS clinic and said, this should be happening, it's like level 1 evidence or whatever, you should be, and they agreed, the docs all agreed. It took us 3 years before we got a patient. Just bureaucracy, changes in staff, yada, yada, but it ultimately led us to, we probably have 500 or 600 MS patients in our community pharmacy now, which is a large number based on the prevalence of MS. But that was the reason. It was vaccination.
That's perfect. So lead with the needle, as I always say.
Lead with the needle is a good one, yeah. I'll borrow that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then, Yvon, in terms of improving EBITDA, every little bit helps as a business owner. I call it offense and defense, right? So offense is make more money. But defense is watch your expenses. So
yeah, and of course, but what I realize, the more I come to talk with pharmacists, there's an elephant in the room that we don't talk about. It's the front shop. And because if you can have great performance on your clinical side, but if you're not aware of what's happening on the front shop, you have a problem. Let me explain. My data show that from the data I have in Quebec, that all the stores on average lose about $300,000 in profit from the front shop. Okay,
Wow.
That's because of the model we have. So it doesn't mean that we have to change the model, even though it would be good. Okay, but we're stuck with the model, and it's a North American model. So let's work with it. But if you are not aware of what you lose in the front shop, on average, the first $300,000 you make in profit from the clinical side, you have to pump it up in the front shop just to be even. And after that, your EBITDA increases. So you have to have a plan to increase your revenues on the clinical side, like we are talking about right now, but you have to be aware of the loss that you make on the front shop, because every dollar that you stop losing is a dollar that comes in your EBITDA. And you need to have a plan. And pharmacists are not trained to go on that side of their business. They hope that their manager, their banner, will take care of it. And if you let them take care of it, they will. Because you'll be part of their plan.
yes.
And I don't mind that they have a plan. The problem is that pharmacists don't have a plan. So they cannot discuss. They cannot share data. They cannot make common decisions. And that's a problem. So even before thinking about making a lot more money with new clients, can you just have a look at your front shop and what you're doing well in your clinic, on your clinical side? Do best what you do right now, make it run, and then you can talk to Don and see how can I do more? How can I add to my services? Is it immunization? Is it specialty medication? Whatever. But start with the base. And the base is just, do you know your EBITDA right now? And what is it today? And what do you want next year? In between, there's your action plan.
Wow. That's actually a very key takeaway. It's almost like we've got a built-in strategy here for pharmacists or pharmacy owners, is starting with the base, the front shop, and then layering on what additional clinical services.
Yeah.
And actually, turning it back to you, Don, everyone's niche is different.
Yep.
It does. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You do your market, your needs assessment, your SWOT analysis. And a lot of pharmacists know, I'm seeing a lot of this, or my pharmacists are telling me I'm seeing a lot of this. I mean, I run a travel immunization clinic, and the reason why I started is because there was no travel clinic in town, and they were like, yeah, I need this, I need that. And I'm like, okay, I have enough whispers here to address this niche. And that's our niche, is immunization, travel. So yeah, in your experience, you address specialty.
Yeah, so to follow your analogy, I mean, I'm sure there were people in the room who've, they've got a rheumatologist close by or a neurologist close by, and, maybe they get the odd patient, but they're losing a lot of patients to, especially pharmacies. So those are the people that I'm really, trying to connect with. And like, our model is, we're going to share what we do. We created an entity called Alliance Local RX. There's a website, alliancelocalrx.ca. And, anyone that we have some geographic carve-outs and exclusivity, but most of the country, we don't have a partner, and we want to find partners. We want other community pharmacies, and not everyone's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have the different niche, but those that get those inklings that specialty is right for them and their location and their passion, their interests, come join us. Don't reinvent the wheel.
No, please don't
try to. Like, the hard learnings we've had over the last 13 years are hard learnings, and I'm here today, to try to scale something not for my own benefit, but for the community pharmacy.
Yep.
I totally buy into the message of the plenary session. I mean, it's going to be game changing for Canadian healthcare. If we can, optimize pharmacy. And I think specialty has to be part of a number of pharmacies' practices. Not everyone, but a lot more than are today. And those that are doing it need to collaborate. We need to share best practices. We need to share protocols. We need to share knowledge about vaccines and how important they are, et cetera. And I think that message resonates with people right now, and whether it's specialty or not. But I'm excited about the meeting because I think it's the start of more talk about how community pharmacies can participate in specialty.
Yeah, and I think it lends itself to that collaboration. And I love your example of scaling up nationally and finding more partners, because we were actually in the same boat. So we started something called Vaccine Center of Excellence, because working with employers, they often have offices nationally, or they often have locations.
Right.
And our mission statement at immunize.io is taking our best shot at immunizing the world. So, we can't give all those shots. So we have found really keen partners who are have pharmacists who are engaged, willing to use their full scope of immunization, willing to, stay up to date on the guidelines. And then if there's an employer that wants a certain program, they have an office, say in Kingston, Ontario or something, we can match them with that. And I think that's the goal, is you create this network and you help each other out. Yep. And it's really, these are never my patients to begin with. I can't go to Ontario and do that. So it just, everyone wins, especially the patient. So I love that idea with specialty, and I'm happy to connect with you offline actually on that. I think
absolutely.
I've been making a lot of connections through here, so that's great.
That's good. No, I'm excited to learn about your model too, and I think it's a powerful model. I mean, we've been at it in some form or other 5 years with this network, and honestly, the payoff for us too is extraordinary. We went and toured through one of our newest partner sites in Cambridge, Ontario, Hopeton Pharmacy. He's just opened a 2-chair infusion clinic, and he showed me with this is Ahmed, the owner, al-Baghdadi. He showed me with such pride the Google review that the patient gave the clinic, the nurse.
Awesome.
And it was just, it almost brought me to tears, because it's like, this is it. This is why we're doing it.
Exactly.
And he's worked hard to get there, and it's not an easy path. but it's a rewarding path for sure.
It is, definitely, and it's a necessary one for sustainability, right, Yvon?
Oh, you bet. You bet.
100%.
Yeah. And the message is just like Don said, and you did the same. You start, do it, but identify what you're passionate about. Do you have the talent to do it? Do you have the volume for it, make it sustainable? Then go, start. One client at a time and enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, you won't make it in the long run.
Exactly.
Impossible.
Yeah,
Impossible.
and you always want to start with your first patient. You want to stumble through it. It's got to be uncomfortable, and that's where it starts. And that's where I think a lot of people don't make it that far, right? It's you gotta feel that discomfort. So,
and the passion's important because you got to keep going, right? You know, when the door gets slammed in your face, and a doctor that initially said yes, I'll work with you, and then doesn't work with you for 3 years. That's why I told that story about the MS clinic. It took 3 years. And so I don't give up on things when they don't first go the way. If I think the idea is solid, and I think your idea is solid, I think your ideas are very solid. And I think this idea of combining, especially pharmacy in the right community pharmacy setting, it's durable. It's going to be around a while.
I think that passion, if you're convinced that the idea is good, and people, the way to see it, I think, is just that they don't get it. But that's only the start of your reflection, of your thinking. If they don't get it, that's my fault. I couldn't explain. I couldn't bring the proof. So it's just, if you're passionate, find a way so they get it. And then they can choose to do it or not. That's fine. Right. But at least we understand each other. And then we can choose to work together. But it's easy to say, oh, they don't get it. I don't mind. No, you do have to mind. If you're passionate about it, and you know that if you don't bring it on the table, clients will suffer. So you cannot say, oh, they don't get it. No. Find your way so people get what you have to offer on talent, passion, and volume.
Talent, passion, volume. And again, the litmus test is your elevator pitch, which is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think the conversation with both of you has been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I will just leave you, if either of you have any final thoughts, maybe what do you think next year at PharmacyU is going to be like? Through your rose-colored glasses.
My rose-colored glasses would suggest that PharmacyU next year, there will be many, many sessions that deal with especially pharmacy-related topics, whether it's the therapeutic area knowledge that you need to go and manage these conditions, whether it's the business side of things and how to optimize. Like, just talking to people who have been through this journey, like Ahmed in Cambridge, I know there's a lot of information I can still share with him, and he's been the best, student's the wrong term, but he's been the best advocate for this model that I've found yet. And I know I want to help him keep moving forward, and I want to help the people that are starting out. So I think I need more help to do this. I need other pharmacists that are participating in specialty to join this cause, to get on this agenda, to create the plenary and the panel sessions. That would be success for me, and I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to help make it happen.
Definitely. It's almost like creating this following, right? It's this sort of like...
It's a movement. It's got to be a movement. It's so... Yeah. We're up, like the David and Goliath analogy, it's like, it's got to be a movement. There's got to be a core team that helps. Because people might not, to your point, they might not buy into the way I'm delivering the message, but they might buy into the way Jim delivers the message, or Ahmed delivers the message, or Bruce Winston in Calgary with Neighborly is very advanced in his understanding, knowledge especially. Like, there are other people out there that believe what I believe and know what I know, that a community pharmacy can do this. But we just have to get people over that first hurdle of, I don't want people to necessarily fumble through the first prescription they get, because that might be the pivotal moment where if they do a great job and the patient's happy, the doc's happy, that leads to 100 more referrals. And I want to help them be comfortable in that first moment, even with a little unease in their bellies.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's great. Yvon, final words, and what do you want from PharmacyU?
I see in PharmacyU in 3 years 50% sessions based on the clinical part and 50% on the profitability. So we need to take care of the patients as much as we need to take care of the pharmacy profitability at the same time. Not one before the other, both hand in hand. So if you feel that you take more care of your patients than your pharmacy, we have a problem. That's what I see for the future of PharmacyU, 50-50%.
It's pretty profound, and I think that definitely resonates. I think that's very practical for sustainability. Excellent. Well, I really enjoyed hearing both of your stories, your information. I think it's extremely valuable. Your sessions were extremely well received, and hopefully see you next year at PharmacyU.
We will. We will. Thank you so much, Ajit.
Thank you so much, Yvon.
Thanks, Ajit.
Thanks, Don.
Cheers.
Cheers.